Tonight at 8, the final stretch in the race for governor.
It's a choice between sanity or chaos.
Katie Hobbs and Kari Lake make their final pitches and take their final punches as November 8th nears.
Her incompetency, her problems and issues are not issues we want to have in the governor's office.
With just 7 days until the election, we're examining where the candidates stand on one of Arizona's most contentious issues, border security.
The cartels are either going to stop running it through Arizona or they're going to be met with the wrath of hell.
My opponent is offering nothing but extreme positions and empty rhetoric.
The race for governor coming down to a photo finish right now at 8. So we are exactly 1 week away from Arizona's high-stakes midterm election, and today Arizona's family spoke with both candidates for governor, Kari Lake, Katie Hobbs, as they lay out their closing arguments.
Our political editor Dennis Welch spoke with the Republican nominee for governor, Kari Lake, and joins us now. And Dennis, you sat down with Lake for about half an hour today at her campaign office. What did you focus in on?
Yeah, now surprisingly, this was a policy discussion focused on taxes, schools, and the border. Now, from the start of this campaign, Lake has made it very clear she's going to get tough on the border, and she's made that a central theme of her run. Now, if elected, Lake says she's going to stop fentanyl from pouring across the border into our state. This could be a very tough task for a state governor because they lack authority in this area. Now, take a look at this. We dug into some of the numbers and found that over the past 4 years, more than 80% of the seized fentanyl came through the federal ports of entry, not between them. This year alone, nearly 85% of the fentanyl drug seizures happened at the ports. Now, given that state governors have no power over federal ports, I asked Lake if she planned to follow the lead of Texas Governor Greg Abbott, who forced commercial trucks to stop for additional inspections on the Arizona side of the border. Now, here's part of that exchange. The governor has no authority over the federal ports of entry. Is there a plan to deal with that? I mean, Governor Abbott has put inspections
We may
near
have
the
to
border.
do things like that. We may have to do things like that. We're going to send a very loud message to the cartels. And they're either going to get the message or they're not, and we may have to do more inspections.
So that would be on the table.
Do random inspections. But what we're not going to do is sit on the sidelines and watch our state be overrun by drug runners and smugglers.
Now, after the Texas governor required additional inspections, traffic backed up for miles along the border over there, slowing commerce and eventually forcing Abbott to ease back on those inspections. Lake also said that right now she's focused on winning the election and is going to take a closer look at some of these policies if she is elected. Now, the Democrat Katie Hobbs, who's running for governor, cast her vote this morning. She says she's trying hard to appeal to undecided voters who are unsure about who they will vote for. We also asked Hobbs about her plans for border security. She says the plans to bring meaningful solutions to those communities and is calling for the shipping containers placed at the border by Governor Ducey to be removed.
We're going to work with local law enforcement and local leaders in terms of what the state can do to provide meaningful relief. A lot of border security, as you well know, covering the border is a federal issue. We need the federal government to act, and as governor, I will work with whoever it takes to get the job done.
Now, Hobbs says the Biden administration and Congress need to act on comprehensive immigration reform and, quote, get real border security.
Dennis, to a certain extent, it seems like both candidates want the same thing when it comes to the border in terms of they both want better security. But where do you see the biggest differences between them?
Yeah, I mean, everybody, I think, wants border security. But I think the biggest difference is when you look at Hobbs, when you look at Lake, is Hobbs's plan does, she does have a plan. She does plan to add more funding for border sheriffs, for facilities down there to help deal with the amount of migrants surging across the border. But a big part of her plan really still relies on the federal government and Congress to get something done. And this is something that Katie Hobbs herself will tell you straight up that Congress has failed to do now for a couple of decades, if not longer, to get this done. Now, Lake, on the other hand, obviously she's taken a much tougher tone, and she's telling you, she'll tell me, she'll tell voters over and over that she doesn't want to wait, and she's not going to sit back and just watch them not take any action on this stuff.
So here